Hi, and welcome to First Presbyterian Church, a series of videos that we are presenting in order to allow us to comfortably and safely get back together and see each other eye to eye. This is a video for people who want to be able to attend worship either outdoors or in the sanctuary. There's also another video that will help with worship attendance, those who are the ushers and who wish to assist us in being able to make sure that our environment is safe and welcoming. And then a third video that is for individuals who are using our facilities for special events or for small groups. Before you arrive for a worship service or event at FPCLG, you need to ask yourself if you should be going out at all. 5 things you need to consider. 1, do you or anyone in your household currently have COVID-19? The answer is yes. Hope you're doing okay, but please stay home. 2, are you feeling any symptoms? Do you have a fever, a shortness of breath? If you are feeling any way symptomatic, you should probably stay home till you're feeling much better. 3, have you been identified through contact tracing as having been exposed to COVID-19? If you've had that contact, that you have been exposed, you should wait until you have a negative test or you've sheltered at home for 14 days. 4, do you have any underlying conditions like diabetes, heart disease, COPD, immune suppression? Are you over 65? These are indicators that perhaps an exposure to COVID might be a higher risk than you want to take. And 5, are you willing and able to wear a mask that covers your nose and your mouth and leave it on for the duration of our contact together? Masks are our best and most straightforward way to prevent COVID spread. If you can answer yes to all those, then come and join us, and I'll tell you how that's going to work. As long as weather is permitting, we'll gather here on the lawn of the church. This is at the corner of Ashland and Elm by our memorial garden. When you arrive there on Elm Street will be a check-in kiosk. That's a pretty fancy term for just a table that will be there for you to be able to check in before you find space on the church lawn to gather with those you have come. An usher will ask your name and if your contact information is current with the church office. If it is, your name is all that we need. If not, we'll need a current contact email or phone number for contact tracing. Once you've checked in with the usher, there will also be hand sanitizer available. Please leave your mask on, and hopefully you have brought with you a lawn chair. If you've not brought your own chair, there will be limited chairs provided for those who can seat here on our church lawn. We ask that you stay with those who are from your own home in gatherings that have a full 6 feet between the next pod of those who gather. This area within the sidewalks will hold about 45 participants, which then will leave us 5 or so participants to actually lead worship near the east cloister just outside the church door. If you arrive and the lawn is already full, you are welcome to park along Elm Street and along Ashland Street in your vehicles so that you can see. We have purchased an FM transmitter that will allow on frequency 89.9 for you to listen to the service through the sound system in the safety and the presence of your vehicle. We can see one another, but once we exceed the capacity of the lawn, we'd like the remaining attendees to remain in their vehicles. Also, the possibility that we may meet here in the parking lot depending upon the angle of the sun and the time of day of our gathering. When we're on the church lawn, we'll try and gather in the afternoons so that the sun will be behind the building, but from time to time we may gather here in the church parking lot. The amount of space is about the same as it is on the lawn to the side of the church, about 45 attendees with 5 or so people who will be leading worship. Other gatherings here in the church parking lot can occur, but of course that means we can't park cars in the lot. We'll also have available our FM transmitter for people who are pulling in on the roads around us, and that range will allow you to be able to listen on frequency 89.9. Of course, departing from any event is going to be difficult because we'll need to maintain that same 6-foot social distance as we walk away from each other. Be attentive to those who are on the sidewalk. Try and follow a flow so that face-to-face contact does not occur on the sidewalks and on the grounds. As much as possible, continue to return to your vehicles in a safe social distance marking, like you should be doing at the grocery store. There's going to be a limit to the weather as to how much we can worship outdoors. Outdoors is, of course, the safest because it allows the fresh air to carry the aerosols away and render them separate from somebody who might be inhaling. But when the weather shifts, we are going to come back into our building, provided that the state of Illinois category for our particular district says that it's okay. If you look at the IDPH Reemerging Illinois website, we are in Zone 10, which is suburban Cook County, Zone 10. That will tell us whether or not we are stepping backwards into mitigation space and thereby not allowing ourselves to gather indoors. When you come to an indoor worship service, we're going to ask that everybody enter through the Elm Street door, the main entrance into the sanctuary, the big glass doors underneath the bronze sculpture of Jesus. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving. We want everybody to flow in the same direction. If you need help with a handicap entrance, please call ahead and let the office know that you will be needing the handicap entrance, and we will make sure that we have an usher available to help you with that space. But everyone else we invite to come in through the Elm Street door, and then I'll show you what to expect. When you enter the Elm Street door, you may find a bit of a backup. We ask you to just wait as you would in front of any other gathering space at safe social distance of 6 feet between yourself and the next person in front of you. The reason why it might be backed up is because at the door there will be an usher with a clipboard who will check in your attendance by writing your name on a contact sheet and ask you if your information is current with the church office. Again, if your information is current, your name is all we need. But if it's not current, we're going to ask for an email address or a cell phone number where we can contact you in the event that someone in attendance discloses that they were COVID positive while they were here. When you come in and the usher has signed you in, you will then be given a squirt of hand sanitizer to clean your hands before you enter into the sanctuary. Our goal is to have the cleanest hands that we can have as people enter into common space. Ushers will take care of making sure that we wipe down high contact areas like doorknobs and pulls, but we want you to start with clean hands before you enter the sanctuary. Remember, leave your mask on. When you come into the sanctuary, the doors to the sanctuary are going to be left open throughout the duration of the service. This is because we want to maintain maximum airflow as we gather. And so it may be distracting to some to have the doors open during worship, but that will allow the maximum flow of air in our gathering together with our air handler system that recirculates the air within the sanctuary. That everyone enter the sanctuary through the center doors, the center glass doors into our sanctuary, so that again we can maintain constant flow in the same direction. When you arrive at your pew, you're going to discover that every other pew has been blocked off. This will allow a safe social distance of approximately 6 feet between those who gather for worship. When you come into your pew, you will notice that hymnals and Bibles have been removed from the pew racks. That's so that we are not tempted to touch things that need then to be wiped down after every worship service. The words to hymns will be projected on the screen, and so you may want to find a seat where you're able to see. At safe social distance, our sanctuary holds about 45 people, the same number as would be at an outdoor worship service in either the parking lot or the Ashland and Elm lawn. When you come into your pew, there will be a marking. It'll be a 6-foot stripe of blue painter's tape. That's just to give you a reminder of how far apart people should gather in their family units within each pew. Our pews are about 12 feet long, which means if people sit at either end at about 3 feet, the distance between them would be 6 feet. But of course, households can sit together, and so you may need to use your best judgment to determine whether or not we can fill both ends of the pew or only one. There'll be a few more pews blocked off in the front rows of the sanctuary so that there's plenty of distance between the pastor, who occasionally allows things to get out of control with his own volume, plenty of distance so that he can't end up splashing on you. Likewise, with any musicians that will be presenting in the front of the sanctuary, there'll be some extra distance in the front pews. A word about washrooms. While we really don't want to have to be cleaning washrooms every single gathering after every person, we do understand that they can sometimes be a necessity. On the washroom door is going to be hanging a sign. One side will say open, the other occupied. We're asking that adults go into the washrooms only one at a time, and that you wait until the person is exited before the next person goes in to use the facilities. Clearly, small children with parents will be permitted in the washrooms, but we ask that while you're there, you do as you should do. Wash your hands when you're done. When it's time to depart from the sanctuary, we are going to ask people to use the side aisles for exit, again so that they flow in the same direction, keeping a safe social distance on the side aisles. Those on the east side of the church will move over towards the Ashland side door, and those on the west side of the church will be egressing through the Catherine side door. Either the Catherine door or the Ashland door, the panic bars make it extremely simple to be able to egress the building without touching with your hands. Using an elbow or tossing your hip, you can head right out those doors. We'll wipe them down, but we want to minimize the amount of contact. Of course, the other difficulty we will have when we gather is not being able to touch, to reach out, to take each other's hands and shake them, or to embrace. We ask that you embrace with your eyes and with your words, and that you refrain touching. Contact can become extremely awkward in these early gatherings because we miss each other and we want to hold each other. Hug at a distance, smile with your eyes, and encourage with your words. We know you want to be together. We know you want to hold each other close. And so use gestures when we meet, outside and inside.